Right, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Today, we're going to have a lot of fun as we attempt to create and build the ultimate League One squad with some very, very important rules. A 24-man squad to be precise. Of course, the clever ones amongst us will realise there's 24 teams in Sky Bet League One. That's right, one player from every single club. Only one player from every club competing in League One this season. I did it last year, but of course, some brand new players and brand new clubs entering the league. There's so many different ways that we can look at it this time around. You can get involved with the link in the description. In fact, 3, 2, 1, bang, here you go. On the screen right now, this is the most played through minutes starting 11 from every single League One club. You can see we put them all in a 4-3-3 formation. Yes, delete the comment. I know what you're thinking, but not every team plays a 4-3-3. I know, but the squad we're building is going to be in a 4-3-3. It is the most played, I believe, formation across the season so far, and I have crowbarred a few players in, so if you're thinking, well, that one player doesn't really fit that system, don't worry. He might be playing right back, even though he's a centre-half, or right centre-half and a back three. He probably is going to be playing right back just for this concept, so we can get all of the important players in, because we can't miss the big name players. Again, this is the most played starting 11, so there could be a better player, but he hasn't played enough minutes. This is the most played 11 from every single club. I think we're clear so far. I'll emphasise the rule, a 24-man squad, one player per team. You can get involved. We're going to go through it based on my thought process. I have got the team, I have got the squad that I've already put together before recording this, but we will be going through my thought process in, let's say, a 10 times speed, because going through 3 to 4 hours worth of footage is not really what anybody wants to do. If you do like this type of content, please make sure you subscribe and leave a like. We've recently hit 4,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. And we're now on the road to, well, 4.5 and then, dare I say it, 5k. If you do like the content, show support by doing both of those things. And also, suggestions in the comment section down below. More ideas like this. And also, there's some gaping issues and some gaping stinkers that I've made. Also make me fully aware of those in the comment section as well. I'll be replying and responding to all of them as per usual. Right, so let's get straight into it. You can see here lots of players, lots of names, pretty daunting. The first challenge was simplifying this on the eye and almost creating a short list of players that could potentially make it into my 24-man squad. Before we do that, and before we show you how I did that, let me show you the squad here. 2 goalkeepers, 4 centre-backs, 2 right-backs, 2 left-backs, quite a few options in central midfield, 2 right wingers, 2 left wingers, and 3 strikers. So there are areas to fill, but remembering, 24-man squad with 1 player per team, it still, of course, is very, very difficult. So, let's have a little look at simplifying it. And the way I did that was, you can see, 3, 2, 1, greying out the players that could potentially make it in there. Still, hasn't massively helped me, because the amount of players that can still make it in the squad after greying it out is evident. And this again shows, I remember doing this last year, but this does show how lucky we are, but also how privileged this League One division is to have such an amazing amount of players, of great quality. You can see the entire Sheffield Wednesday squad is greyed out. Same with Wycombe Wanderers. I think Bolton Wanderers are, bar one. I imagine Ipswich Town are, where I can find them. Yet they're the same. Plymouth. There's so many options and so many teams that are pretty much, to the brim of quality throughout. And that again is not making this easy. Lucky, it's amazing to see it in League One, but it doesn't make this type of concept very easy at all. So let's go through my thought process. I went with and started off with the poorer teams. Now, I'm very respectful. Oxford United, we probably unfortunately do fall into that category this season. But I've gone with players that from the teams that I think have got to be in there based on the fact there aren't loads of options for their specific club. So, starting off with Accrington Stanley, I went with Sean McConville. Somebody who is regularly in this type of video when we do 1 player per team. Sean McConville is always on my list. I like Sean McConville. I think he's an experienced head, somebody for Accrington who's done so well in the last couple of years. His goal contributions for the last 4 years in League One have been nothing short than incredible. And I think based on Accrington, this season being in a slightly lower position than normal, I think someone like Sean McConville is still somebody that you can rely on to step up. He can play anywhere down that left-hand side. So when we look at versatility in this squad, he also does tick quite a few boxes. But he is going to be playing as the left winger in this team. So let's bring him over to the left wing area just here. Sean McConville is the first player in that squad. Of course, that means Accrington Stanley is ticked off. But it also means we are now already 1 left wing down. That's the wrong page. Here, you can see we are, of course, Accrington Stanley ticked off. But that left winger spot, one of those has already been filled, which isn't a bad thing because Sean McConville is a top player. But that's how, the longer it goes on, you'll see this, the longer we go through it, the harder it does get. So continuing on the trend of teams with limited options, I moved to Morecambe. You can see the two highlighted players were Stockton and Ripley. Stockton, not in a very good place when it comes to goal scoring form this year. Last season couldn't stop scoring. This year, the polar opposite. Only 2 goals in all competitions. He doesn't make my squad this time around, which means Ripley is the player that I've selected. Let me put a nice little border around him so we're 100% clear. I've gone with Ripley. Not a very nice position to play, the goalkeeper for Morecambe, to be honest. He's had a lot of shots against him. He has conceded quite a few goals, but I think they'd be in a much worse position if they didn't have Ripley. So I've gone with him. He is going to be my sub-goalkeeper, if you like, but we had to get Morecambe out of the way. We had to get somebody from Morecambe in there, and of course there were other options, but they were the two that I felt were the best to fit the squad. Let's X off Morecambe there and bring Ripley into my squad. He is going to be my substitute goalkeeper, but he's a good goalkeeper who has really kept Morecambe in quite a few games and saved them from, even more drop points, to be honest. Stockton, he misses out. He's not been in the same form he was last season. Right then, let's continue. Let's go to Forest Green Rovers, because I remember this one was quite a struggle. In fact, only one player I highlighted, and that was O'Keefe, probably their best player so far this season. Of course, Connor Wickham left in January. His contract expired. He only had a 6-month deal. Connor Wickham probably would be somebody I think about, but of course, he's not currently at Forest Green Rovers. He's left the football club, which means O'Keefe was the player that I had to bring in. So he is the one I've gone with from Forest Green Rovers. Again, this wasn't easy. Because unfortunately they haven't got a great deal of quality based on what we've seen elsewhere. So O'Keefe, I'm going to put him in the squad there. He's going to be my secondary right back. I'm just making sure I've got that right. Yes, that is okay. So then, let's go to Lincoln City next. Not really, because we're on the same trend of poor players, because you can see Lincoln City have got a really good, quite good squad there. They have got quite a few options, but remember this was quite a late change, and this made it quite difficult. So with Lincoln City, I've gone with. Let me just double check. I'm not getting this wrong. I've gone with Paul, the fullback, the right back. So we're going to tick off 2 right backs. Of course, we can only have 2 right backs. We're going to tick off Forest Green Rovers right back O'Keefe, and now Lincoln City right back Paul. He's somebody that's been in really good form this season, so I think he does fit that criteria there. Let me just highlight him fully. Bang. Let's bring Paul in. Let's bring Paul into this squad, and that is now right back done. I'm happy with that. O'Keefe hasn't been in a great Forest Green Rovers side, but he is a good player. Paul, he's been in a Lincoln City squad that's had really good moments and had quite difficult moments, but I think generally on the whole, he has shown the type of player that he is. I think at right back, we've got some good, solid options there. So let's make sure we tick off Lincoln City. That is another team done. In fact, that's 4 teams done now. Of course, 4 players added to this ultimate League One squad. Are you still with me? Hopefully you are. This is really difficult because I've got to remember who I've gone with. So let's go to Cambridge United as well next. Let's make sure I've got the right player here. I think I know what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Nibs. You can see quite a few options actually for Cambridge United. They have got a good squad. They are underachieving and they are struggling. But there are players we can go with. Digby is one. Nibs, of course, Sam Smith as well. Ironside, I don't know why I haven't highlighted him. I think he's a good player this season. Maybe not to the amazing record when it comes to goals and goal contributions compared to last season. Maybe a little bit harsh there. I didn't go with Ironside though anyway. I went with Nibs, the central midfielder, who is actually playing as more of an attacking midfielder and striker. Actually can play off the left and the right as well. Very versatile. He fits the idea and the criteria that I set right at the start of having depth, but also I think quality and versatility within that depth as well. So Nibs is going to be a player I added in there. Linked to a move away in January. He's been in really good form. I think if they do go down, he will move from Cambridge United. And even if they do stay in the league, there are a lot of teams sniffing around. I think Plymouth wanted him. A few championship names as well. We're looking at his services. He has been in a really good place when it comes to his individual form. So Nibs is going to go in there. Let's bring Nibs in. He is going to be one of quite a few options we can have in centre midfield. But he's a very good option. Let's bring him into the centre of those options there. Right then, let's go to Cheltenham Town, because I want to add in Taylor, Freestone, Circum, Broom or May. So again, quite a few options. I think Alfie May made the squad last season. That is an option. Broom, of course, joined in the summer. He did very well at Plymouth on loan last season. Of course, now at Cheltenham, he's somebody we could have gone with. Circum, I know quite well. Of course, his time at Oxford United, I could have gone with Liam Circum. But I've gone with Taylor, Celeb Taylor. Really impressed with him. I think he's been one of the best loan signings we've seen. Gone so under the radar, it's an absolute disgrace. Maybe because he's playing for Cheltenham Town, who aren't doing exceptionally well when looking at the league table. I think if he was at Ipswich or Plymouth, I think he could play for one of those clubs. He's been that good. We'd be hearing so much more about him. On loan from West Brom, if I'm not mistaken, he's definitely somebody that deserves to be in this squad. So Sadab Taylor, welcome, sir. You're in. Let's copy you in, and you can play as one of these centre-backs. For me, a great addition there. I think the centre-back and the defence so far is coming up nicely. It's making its way to being a very, very good back. Well, we haven't got a left back yet, but we're getting there, is what I'm trying to say. We're making progress, which is what we like to do here on the channel. So, let's go to Taylor. Bang, move you in there. Did we select off the last team? I feel like we've missed off, ticking a few names off here. We've still got Morecambe. We've done that. We didn't do Forest Green. That's why there's not enough X's on there. And we didn't do Cambridge United either. We're doing well. Progression, maybe a little bit of an understatement. Right then, so let's move over to the next one. Let's pick, actually, no, I think where we went to next, when my thought process, because actually one of the most difficult aspects of doing this is working out where I went mentally when putting this together for the first time. I have got a squad, I have got my final 24-man squad, but of course, sort of visualising it and putting it together over a period of time is actually quite a difficult task. So, next up, I went with the players I think I had to have in there, ultimately. I had to have it in there. I think we had a couple of players that I wanted to be in there because of the amount of quality that they can bring to the squad, and they're almost musts. Again, we maybe had to sacrifice a couple of players and also a couple of positions, but we had to have them in there. So I went with Oxford United's Cameron Brannagan, for me, our best player. Maybe when you look at our best player this season, there are other arguments. We could go maybe to Brown. Left back, he's been very good. McGuane, Anderson has been solid. There have been some really good players, but I think Brannagan is somebody that you've got to be in there. I think when you look at all of League One midfielders, he's definitely, for me, in the top 5. I maybe could even push him in that top 3, but I'm biased. I'm an Oxford United fan, but no doubt he's amazing. Last season in the Team of the Year. This season, again, goals, assists, he's in there. He is the talisman. He is somebody that, through his ability, brings the rest of the squad up. And to have him in this 24-man squad, it is, it's a must. So Brannagan's going to be in there. Let's copy Brannagan in. He's going to be a starting centre midfielder. Again, we haven't really looked at a starting 11. We can put that together right at the end. I probably am sort of subconsciously doing it, but Brannagan is in there, and he had to be in there for me. So, let's move on to the other musts, and we went to go to strikers, because like I said right at the start, Stockton missed out, but not because he hasn't just been in great form, but also there are so many other striking options. I went with Clark Harris, okay? I went with Clark Harris of Peterborough United, currently League One top goal scorer, doing very, very well. In the air, he's brilliant. On the ground, he's also not a bad player either. He has to be in there. He is a striker of immense quality. Probably should be playing in the Championship, but he's trying to get Peterborough United out of League One. I think his squad is looking at him and thinking there are a lot of other options here. I think Fuchs had a really good season. Edwards, an extremely young, exciting centre-back coming through. Lots of interest in him. I could go on. The entire Peterborough United squad is highlighted. But Clark Harris, he's got to be in there. Clark Harris, you are going to be my starting striker. That's difficult to say. Starting striker in this squad. Let's bring you in there. And of course, that is Peterborough United done. But we are now only left with 2 other strikers. And we've, of course, done Peterborough United now. So we can't have any more of those players. Remember, we're not just going to be able to do the best player per team. There are going to be some players, some big net players from your club that don't get it in there. But again, this comes down to making sure you're getting a well-balanced squad. There are players, and we'll come on to them when we do have to speak about it, where you've got to say, well, he's got to be in there. He's our best player. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You've got to have players in there that can come in, be versatile, but also can give you that really well, I'm going to use the word again, balanced squad throughout. Hopefully that does make sense. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it now. I think I'm nearly there. Right, let's go to... we've done Cambridge United. Let's do Burton. Because Burton were, again, sort of similar to the opening ones we did when we were looking at players and options, where we weren't blessed with the amount of players to select from. Powell is a option, for sure. Smith, a winger, I think has been very, very good. But I've gone with Adebayo. I'm making sure I'm recording this video before he potentially moves to Bolton. I think that deal is pretty much done now, but he is, as of recording, still a Burton Albion player. So Burton, I'm going to go with Adebayo. He's been very, very good. He's been almost that shining light in what has been a very, very difficult Burton squad when it comes to their performance on the pitch. They have scored a lot of goals, actually, but they have conceded way too many, and the results generally across the season have been extremely mixed, but unfortunately, on the whole, pretty bad. But Adebayo has done very, very well. For me, he's got to be in there. I know it's a striker. That is a very big position, but he deserves to be in there based on what we've seen from him this season, based on the squad he's been a part of. He's almost created and had to create his own chances, and his numbers for a side that that are comfortably in that relegation zone right now are brilliant. So Adebayo, you're in there, son. Welcome to my squad. Only one striker can remain, but Burton are done now, so we haven't got to go back to them because, again, there were a few limited options when it comes to those players there. Powell and Smith were the other ones. We could have gone with Borthwick Jackson, actually, left wing back, and there are players there. Hamer also hasn't had a bad season, but I'm going to go with Adebayo. He's that main man in my eyes. Right, so let's go to Exeter City. They had quite a few names. Exeter have done really, really well this season. I'm very impressed by Exeter City. Goalkeeper Blackman's been very, very good. I think his recent game against Pompey was probably his worst game he's played, but generally across the season, he's been very, very quite impressive. He's strong. He's very, very tall, which, again, you're probably thinking he's a goalkeeper. Of course he's tall. He is huge. The man is huge. He's physically built like a monster, but he's brilliant. Absolutely exceptional. Between the sticks, he is just an exceptional goalkeeping option. So Blackman is a player that we can potentially bring in. Sweeney's there, Collins is there, Brown is in there as well, Sparks, Stansfield and Sam Nombe. So again, lots of players that we can bring in. Nombe, he's been he probably will be quite a few of people's options. Nombe is linked to a championship move. His numbers this season have been very, very good. We speak about teams that get promoted. They have to have a goal scorer, and actually it's slightly different because look at Giovanni Brown, Stansfield and Nombe. They had Dieng as well before he moved on. They have got other players, but those have been that trio that have provided those goals that have ended at seeing them in mid-table comfortably, I think, staying up this year. So we speak about goal-scoring threat. They've got that in abundance. So Brown is an option. Nombe's an option, but I've gone with Stansfield. I've gone with Jay Stansfield. I really like him as a player. He's energetic, he's quick, he's got a brilliant finish on him. He's made that step up to League One after sort of being an under-23s Fulham player, a Premier League club. I think making that step to, of course, League One and professional football isn't easy. He's now doing it at a really, really good level. He's consistent in his performances. I like Stansfield. He has to be in there for me. So let me highlight him. I know Alston out, he normally is a striker, but we don't have a two-striker option, so I'll put him on the right-hand side. See it as a positive, because it means we can definitely get him in. So Stansfield, Jay Stansfield, welcome. You are in this squad now, and we've now got one winger on each side. Stansfield, welcome, you're in. Right, so let's go to Bristol Rovers. Who did we go with Bristol Rovers? I've got it in front of me here. We have gone with, of course we've gone with him. Gibson, Finley, Evans, Collins and Coburn. If I'm being really, really harsh, I'd probably narrow it down to Collins or Coburn if I'm being super specific. Coburn has been really good up front, so is Collins, playing as a striker but also as a number 10 as well, mainly as that centre forward. Evans normally playing behind the two. But I'm going to go Collins. Like I say, quite difficult between Coburn and Collins, but I think he is, again, been in incredible form, frightening form. Similar to Exeter City, we speak about players that have got to step up when you make the step up as a club. Collins has done that really, really well. So Collins, you're in, and even better, you're playing on the left because we don't have a two-striker formation. So you're in there, Collins. I think you can probably do a job on the left, potentially actually in centre midfield more effective, but you know what I'm trying to say. He's in the squad. He can play in the different positions in that front three. Very versatile, but also, most importantly, very, very good. So, moving to Charlton Athletic next. Sessegnon, Innes, O'Connell, Clare, Fraser, Morgan, Raksaki and Charlie Kirk were the players that I highlighted. Stockley misses out, unfortunately. Jack Payne misses out for one reason, because he played for Swindon. So, sorry, Jack Payne, but you're not going to make it in. Woolacott, actually, we probably should highlight him, to be honest. Woolacott has been good. He's sort of recently been on international duty. He was at the World Cup, I think, wasn't he? So, he hasn't actually started in goal. I think he might have an injury or a knock. So, Woolacott hasn't been playing recently, but I probably should highlight him. He is a very good option. He's not going to be my goalkeeper, though. I'm going to go with Innes. To be honest with you, I'm sort of weighing it up between Innes, O'Connell, and probably Fraser, potentially Morgan, and I've realised I'm now pretty much naming everyone I highlighted. Raksaki could have got in there, actually. Raksaki's been really, really good. I'm impressed with him on loan from Crystal Palace. I'm going to go with Innes, though. I think we need a big centre-half that can sort of control the back four. I'm going to go with Innes in there. He's going to make it. Let's make it a little bit nicer. We've got one centre back on each side. Let's go to Innes for Charlton there. He brings in a really good physical presence, but also I think he can bring more than just physicality. He's very good on the ball as well. I like Innes. Let's go with him. So then, let's move. Let's go to Fleetwood Town. Andrew, Earl, Wiridu, Mendes, Gomez. Impressed by him. Vela. Also, of course, moved from Shrewsbury. I like him. I think what Fleetwood Town have done this season under Scott Brown has been very, very good. And I think because of that, we've actually seen lots of players potentially be added to this squad. Andrew and Earl have been good. I think Earl's almost playing as a part of that back three quite a lot of the time. He is a left back. Andrew similar to that, more of a left back, I'd say. Wiredu, I was so impressed with him when he moved from Colchester in terms of impressed with the recruitment of Fleetwood. He also hasn't had a bad season either, but I think bringing someone like him in, he was really, really good. So I like that. Bennett Gomez has been in really good form as well, like I previously mentioned. But I've gone with Wiredu. I think he's going to bring that tenacious, physical aspect to this squad in midfield. We've got a lot of options we can have in midfield. I think he's certainly going to be a good one. So Wiredu, you're in there, and I'm going to tick off Fleetwood there as well. And while we speak about Fleetwood Town, I want to send all my love to Ben Cods Vlogs, who currently is fighting quite a nasty illness at the moment. We're all with you, Ben. Hopefully you pull through. We all love you. And hopefully we see you back at Fleetwood Town very, very soon. We send all of our love to you. Right, let's get back into it. So moving to Plymouth Argyle, this was really quite challenging. You can see here every single player on this spreadsheet for Plymouth has been highlighted. Cooper, Bali Mumba, Scar, most of the defenders have been very, very good. Houghton, Butcher, Mayer, Edwards, Hardy. Of course, the top of the league, you can see why we had to name pretty much every player shortlisted. So I'm going to go, and this was really tough, I've gone with Scar. I've gone with Scar at the back. I think he brings an amazing amount of defensive ability. And you look at that back line now. I know we are waiting for a left back. That will come. That's a very strong back three with Ripley as a sub-goalkeeper and with O'Keefe as our secondary right back. But like I say, it was not easy. Bali Mumba could easily have gone in there. I think we're looking at a left-back area now. You're probably thinking, why wouldn't you put Bali Mumba in there? We have got other players we are going to put there. I'm going to go with Scar, though. I'm going to go with Scar. I think he's done a really, really good job. I think his leadership's going to be really, really important. And like I say, he really does shore up our back four that we're slowly putting together. I'm going to go with Scar of Plymouth Argyle. Right, let's go and move to Portsmouth. Let's see what we're going to go with here. Macy, of course, when we look at most minutes, of course, he has only just joined, but their other goalkeeper, Griffiths, has gone back to West Brom. So Macy is the goalkeeper. He's going to come in. Ogilvie, Raggett, Robertson, Swanson, Marlon Pack, Joe Morrell, Curtis, Dale, Bishop. Again, a pretty greyed out Portsmouth line there. So many players we could go with. In the end, though, this wasn't easy. I'm going to go with, and yes, we are, believe it or not, we are going to select a left back. We're going to go with Ogilvie. Ogilvie, welcome, you're in. I really like Ogilvie. I think he was really, really good the first half of the season, really when Portsmouth were on fire. Of course, a big drop-off, and Danny and Nicky Cowley got the sack. John Messina is now getting a bit of a resurgence out of these players, but I think Ogilvie, what he did do and what he could show as a player was really, really good. We saw him play at right back, we saw him play at left back, but I think his strong position is a left back, and he does, on a regular basis, Mr. Consistent, show that he's a top player. So Ogilvie, I'm going to bring you in there. I'm going to go with him at left back. And that does mean now we've got every position covered in that back five, of course, the back four with the goalkeeper. So Wycombe Wanderers next. You can see their entire team is greyed out, showing the quality in their starting 11. But I've gone with Mehmeti, who actually got down as a central midfielder. I understand he is playing in the wide areas most of the time, but we've got to get him in there. He can play as a central attacking midfielder, so I think I can get away with it. Mehmeti, you are going in. He has been brilliant. He tore us apart on Tuesday night, gave our right back Anderson nightmares, and he's been doing that against most clubs he's faced so far this season. I think Wycombe are going to have to keep hold of him, really, through this January window. Maybe, I think that now looks quite likely, but certainly in the summer. I think he's an absolutely brilliant flair player. I think he goes a little bit against what Wycombe are like traditionally under Gareth Ainsworth. He brings something a little bit different when you look at his dribbling ability, you look at his pace. I think his willingness to just take players on, he's very direct on the ball. I like Mehmeti. I think he's going to be somebody that we see much more of, hopefully in League One, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does make a step up if Wycombe don't get promoted this year, which I definitely can't write off. So Mehmeti, you're going to go in there, and I'm going to see you in that central midfield spot. Right then, let's go to MK Dons next. Harvey was an option, Tucker was a centre-back option, McEachran, Nathan Holland, and Louis Barry, of course, on loan from Aston Villa. Will Grigg again, potentially. Devore's also not been banned since he moved in, but I'm going to go with McEachran. I know his mum, actually. I know that previously did come up in a conversation on this channel, but not just because I know his mum, who was a very nice lady. I think he's a really good player. Maybe again, he has struggled. This MK Dons side has just generally struggled anyway, but I think he's a very good central midfielder. Last season, I think we'll look at MK Dons and their squad. Of course, he was really, really good last year. Look at him this season. I think now he's sort of slowly coming back. He did have quite a few injuries at the start of the year. I think McEachran is definitely the shout for me. So I'm going to go with him, and I'm going to add him into this squad. I like him. Maybe not in the best of form with his club at the moment, and of course his club in general isn't in great form either. But I'm going to go with McEachran in that position there. He is a central midfielder ticked off, and that is the three central positions, central midfielders, all ticked off. And of course, MK Dons as well. And I've forgotten to tick these teams off. That is annoying. So Sheffield Wednesday up next, similar to Wycombe Wanderers, Portsmouth, Plymouth, Ipswich we'll come on to in a few moments' time, Derby as well. A full greyed out starting 11. Stockdale, Johnson, Hickway, Iorfa, Palmer, Volks, Byers, Bannan, Gregory, Windass, Smith. Lots and lots of names there. Lots of quality names. But I've gone with Bannan. I've gone with Barry Bannan, sort of coming back to what I said right at the start about players that have got to be in there, almost essential players to be added in. He does certainly strengthen our starting 11 and our 24-man squad. Barry Bannan, you're in there. Look at those options in there. Nibs could easily be in there. Mehmeti can also play in that position. Quite an attacking area there. Wiradoo is more of a defensive option. McEachran can do that role. Nibs more attacking. Brannagan, I say box to box. I'm liking it. Let me have a look at the other midfielder as well. Yeah, I think we're fine. We're fine. So, that is now leaving us only one space left in central midfield, which now moves us over to, after we've just ticked off Sheffield Wednesday. Let's do Ipswich now, because Ipswich, as you'd imagine, have got a pretty, in fact, yeah, they're all selected. An entire greyed out starting 11. Walton, Davis, Wolfenden, Edmondson, Donassian, Morsey. The list goes on. Chaplin, Harness, Burns, Ladapo. Who did I go with? I went with Wes Burns. Of course, won their Player of the Year last season. I really like Wes Burns. I know he's not really playing as a right winger. He's almost playing as a right wing back, right midfielder. But just leave it out, okay? Leave it out. He's got to be in there, so we've got to put Burns in. So Burns, you're in there. I think he's going to provide pace. He's got blistering pace. Great ability going forward. You probably would bring Burns in there. Like so, just like that, as almost a starting right winger. But Stansfield, he can do that job very, very well, and also can play up front. Versatility. So let's move over to Port Vale. Stevens, Macy, and Harrison were the options. I, in the end, went with Harrison, the striker option. Harrison. Port Vale was tough, really. Port Vale was tough. They've been very, very good, but I look at sort of standout players. Sort of getting them in there wasn't the easiest of tasks. But again, they have got real quality, and Harrison is somebody that I think is a physical presence up there. A really good physical presence. He is scoring goals. Jack Stevens, I like Jack Stevens because he's on loan from Oxford United and he's a good goalkeeper and he's doing generally quite well for Port Vale. So I'm going to go with Harrison though. I think, like I say, he's physical, he's strong, brilliant with his back to goal, not a bad finisher either. I'm going to go with Harrison, doing very well for Port Vale in what was a very strong Port Vale squad. But in terms of standout players, this wasn't the easiest. It wasn't the easiest when we look at also sort of still areas we needed to have players going in there. So Harrison, highlight you. Let's bring you in. And that is now all of our strikers done. Clark Harris, Adebayo, Harrison. I like that. We've gone with quite a physical front three. Adebayo is slightly I'd probably say Adebayo is probably the quickest of the options up there. Not to say Clark Harrison are slow, but I think these are players that I think give us real different ability and attributes as our three centre forwards. So I'm going to go with those three there, and that is now striker ticked off. Same with all of our wide players. We're only left with a starting goalkeeper, another centre back, another left back, and our final central midfielder. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. I promise you. Right, so let's finish off the goalkeeping department, and the way we finish off our goalkeeping department is going to Bolton Wanderers, and we're going to go with James Trafford. Again, lots of players in there. I think Santos is definitely an option, considering we have got another centre-back option to be filled, so Santos can do that. Dempsey's been really good. Morley's also been impressing me. Charles, a little bit mixed when it comes to his form, but again, he's a very good striking option. But we've ticked all those names off there as well. Bradley, as a wing-back, again, has really been quite good, but like I say, both of our right-back options have now been filled up. So we're going to go with James Trafford. Been really good on loan for Manchester City. I like James Trafford. He's very much a fan favourite at Bolton. His distribution's incredible. His shot stopping's not bad either as well. I think he probably is one of the best goalkeepers in League One. So to have him in there as our number one goalkeeper between the sticks, we have to go to Bolton Wanderers, and I'm happy to go to Bolton and tick them off. So Derby County up next. Again, a clean sweep with greyed out options in their starting 11. Wildsmith, Roberts, Cashin. I'm looking at a few of their centre-backs there because we have got one last centre-back position remaining. But we've also got one last central midfielder that could be added to this squad. And I've gone with Hourihane. Let's get him in this squad because he has been very, very impressive. We knew he was going to be a big name in League One, of course, after joining Derby County in the summer. But he has impressed. He really, really has impressed. And he's got to be in there. For me, he's got to be in there. So he's going in there. And that does finish up our central midfield positions there. Hourihane is the last player in there. That midfield three is good, isn't it? That is a good little midfield three. I say Brannagan and Hourihane are the two holding players. Bannan licensed to get forward in the attacking midfield area, if you like. I like that. And the options we've got as well. Mahemati can come in there, but also can play out wide. Nibs as well can play in there, but also can play up front. I think we've got a good squad here. Let me know your squad, of course. You can do this and play along at home. But, yeah, let's tick off Derby County. I'm happy with that. And that does finish off our central midfield areas, which means we have 3 clubs left, which isn't right. We should only have 2 clubs left, but I haven't ticked off 1 player for 1 club. Who is it going to be? We haven't done Barnsley yet. Have we done Plymouth? Of course we have. There we go. 2 positions left, 2 teams left. We're left with Barnsley and we're left with Shrewsbury Town. So let's go with Shrewsbury Town. Shrewsbury. I went with Dunkley. I went with Shea Dunkley. Their most played player, actually, when it comes to minutes plays this season. Shea Dunkley. Really, really good. We had him at Oxford United. He was a bit of a fan favourite there as well. He's brilliant in the air. He is really, really good, excitable personality as well to have in the dressing room. I think he is going to bring the Shrewsbury Town players around him up with his morale, his personality. I use that word again. I think he's really, really good also as a footballer, which does help. So Shea Dunkley's in there. Again, he sort of struggled with fitness at Sheffield Wednesday, but now since moving to Shrewsbury Town, he's getting consistent minutes and he's staying consistently fit. So Shea Dunkley, certainly somebody who can come in and play in that back four very, very well, which leaves us with 1 position left to finish off this squad. And of course 1 team left as well. We're going to go with Barnsley. We're waiting for our next left back and our final player and our second left back as well. I'm going to go with Nicky Cadden, somebody who I kept mentioning at the start of the season. A top player, a top player. Did so well for Forest Green Rovers last season, moved to Barnsley in the summer. His goal contributions, the amount of goal contributions were nothing short than beautiful. Their numbers were lovely to look at. His assists were really good, sort of that bombing, attacking wing back on the left-hand side, always playing as a left midfielder, similar to Burns actually. But on the other side, like I say, his contributions going forward were really, really good. Defensively as well, he can play that role comfortably. So Cadden is the left back, and that is the Barnsley player ticked off, and that is the final squad here. Let me go over to this team here. This is now the bold, highlighted, and final squad. A couple of players I've sort of changed around, but I've gone with this. Probably would be my starting 11. Other than I would have Bannan in that starting 11 actually, so not quite. But that is what I've gone with. Trafford in goal as a goalkeeper with Ripley behind him. Scar, Innes, Dunkley and Taylor as those 4 centre-backs. I'm happy with that. Really, really strong. Paul, O'Keefe, Ogilvie, Cadden, Mahemati, Brannagan, Hourihane, Bannan, McEachran, Nibs and Wiredu. I like that. Very, very strong. A balance there. I think McEachran can also play that role with Wiredu, a bit more holding, similar with Brannagan. Hourihane as well. I like that. Burns at right wing. I know he is more of a right wing back, but again, stay with me. Burns, Stansfield, Collins and McConville on the left-hand side, and our 3 strikers of Clark Harris, Harrison and Adebayo. That is what I've gone with. Ladies and gentlemen, please do leave a like and subscribe if you like this type of content. Something a little bit different, a little bit more fun. Again, it's not your most insightful video you're going to get, but it is something, again, it's something different, something a little bit new. Please make sure you do leave a like and subscribe. You can check this out in the link in the description. You can do it for yourself. Send me in your teams using the Instagram and the Twitter. I'll be replying and sort of going through them as well. You probably can make a better team than this. It definitely is possible. Trust me, I'm not very good when it comes to making decisions. So this isn't the type of task for me. But there we go. Hopefully you did enjoy it. And I've been Jack. This has been the Unfun Podcast. This is me building my ultimate League One squad. Take care. I'll see you all very, very soon. See you in a bit.